subs that man's plays.
He might have played
up to the plane.
He might have. I can see that.
Was queuing up U.S. space. He was playing with everyone on the ISS.
I'm sure at least he watched some replays of it and studied replays.
Viking pick up of Faceless Void.
Okay, I think if you're Nigma, you absolutely have to ban out the Boom Lina. It just seems to be the current best damage into Chronosphere hero.
That or Invoker. I wouldn't mind seeing Invoker banned.
Invoker's
Great
first
setup.
phase banned by Viking.
Oh, my bad.
Everyone's been respecting Miracle for sure.
Yeah, they were literally quoted, they being Nigma, that they got figured out. The Invoker was getting banned. They were relying very heavily on this hero. And so...
Other into Chrono heroes, you mentioned the SF earlier as one of the Boom signatures that Viking were picking during Pinnacle Cup.
SF would be okay. Basically, what Boom does on the mid lane is no matter what he plays, if it's a ranged hero, he goes for a Dragonlance into some dataless MKB build with Satanic. He just goes like pure hard carry from the mid lane, and then you'll have Faceless Void build into more kind of tanky items, Scotties and maybe Halberd, things like that, Aghanim Scepter.
One thing I noticed about Viking is that they love to run like 3 Agi cores. One game they had Ricky, Broodmother, and the Templar Assassin.
Oh yeah,
I believe Templar Assassin is still available. I'm personally not a big fan if you have like Templar Assassin plus Ursa, 2 cores who rely on dealing heavy right-click damage, and then your offlaner could potentially just get a Heaven's Halberd and then you kill 2 flies with 1 item pretty much.
It's an odd timing thing too, just because of a Void plus a TA. I feel like they kind of... At the point where Void starts to do damage, TA does as well. You want heroes that can like do stuff with the Void before he himself can do the damage. Ideally, at least. That's why you see like the Snap Void pairing, Lina Void, because Lina does early damage and late damage. Of course, it gets banned out because Boom is very famous for his Lina.
And Nigma are agonizing over this second ban. What to do? What are they most scared of that can put damage into the Cronus?
They don't have enough control, so any of the spirits come into play, especially Storm Spirit, one of the best heroes against IO in general,
and
also Brewmaster, even Morphling. Yeah, so maybe they should consider banning it out here. And there we go.
All right, so what's remaining? Boom played some Wind Ranger. That's an option. We've seen Tiny with Tree Volley be a possibility of putting stuff into Chrono, maybe not ideal. Templar Assassin these days with the range talent, you could probably reach into a Chronosphere.
I think for Viking should be something like either a Puck or Templar Assassin if they want to play a bit more tempo, gives them that tower damage, because right now they don't have too much. They rely on Timbersaw going in. I'm talking about like killing the tier 2s, killing the tier 3 towers. Okay.
I did not expect that. Interesting. Okay. So they have, I mean, their team fight is wild. If they can go to the mid to late game with these heroes and survive, they are going to do a lot of damage in team fights.
There's Wyvern available if they want to swap things around, have Brewmaster being played as an off lane. You have like mid morph,
carry axe,
sure, and it's a good way to split up the fight against the Magnus. Also heal inside the Chrono. You still lack a bit of a control, so yeah, they go with a bit of a different pick. They go with the Puck. There is a way to deal with the silences with this ABBA. I think like Brewmaster will need to be able to do quite a lot. It's in the end going to be a Brewmaster position 5.
So yeah, it looks like the plan is, what you're basically mentioning is like Brew throwing up the ABBA and then Puck disabling everybody else, or maybe Axe can, like the way that they take team fights is going to be really important for Nigma. I think Viking can kind of just throw their stuff on the ground and it'll be a little bit easier for them, at least in the mid to late game.
They can throw their stuff on the ground, but there's a lot of cooldown dependency in their teamfight ultimates. And do you need both of them in every single teamfight, or you think they can stagger out RP one fight, cleave them up, Earth Spike, and then Chronosphere another fight?
I think at the timing that they want to fight, they can stagger it because they don't have any damage for Chrono until the late game anyway. And so at that point, it's like if you RP, you have damage from the Void. If you Chrono, you have damage from the Void because he's your only source of damage.
I gotta be honest, I favoring Enigma's draft here where they have no cooldown, so this is very punishable. You have RP, you have Chronosphere, even a finger, long cooldown ability. So I expect Nigma to just do what they've been doing throughout the major, group around early on and keep that pressure going.
I think the IO generally too is really good against these like heavy team fighting heroes. You can relocate people out, which is really nice, out of the Chrono, out of the the Magnus RP, and you just have constant regen, constant like essentially fountain regen, so you can just farm right in the enemy team's face, and if they don't have cooldowns, they can't push you out of their jungle and stop you from doing that.
Yeah, I don't even know how you're supposed to burst people once you do get them, because you'll get morphing. Axe is going to be extremely tanky, and I don't know, beyond that, Puck has just been generally quite slippery. I am also going Nigma, which feels bad because, you know, Viking, they've been grinding out their other games. They made it through to upper division, but we're looking at and a major hell of a performance from Nigma, so it's hard to go against them. Let's see how it all happens in game number 1 with our casters Sunsfan and AUI 2000.
Thank you, Tsunami and panel. Sunsfan here with AUI 2000, aka Curtis. Used to be under the DC banner, then you abandoned me, and now you're a caster. How are you doing, young man?
That was the beginning of the end. I'm doing well, though.
Good. That's great to hear. What do you think of this matchup between Team Nigma and the old Vikings?
Well, before talking about the players, I was just sort of interested about the draft because we saw at the Ana Major, LGD versus EG Grand Finals Game 1, when they picked Axe against Timbersaw, the Axe absolutely destroyed the Timbersaw in lane. So I'm sort of surprised they didn't do that this game. Instead, they opt for a different mid hero. I expected this Morphling to go mid. I think it's pretty good versus Magnus. And then you have the Axe carry versus Timbersaw. I think that's what an LGD would have done. But Nigma, they have a different idea.
Yeah.
Curious to see that. Matchup-wise, I think most people are coming favoring Nigma. They had a pretty good run in an Ana Major. Meanwhile, Viking lost to, was it Team Spirit in Pinnacle Cup? They got third. I think they lost to Team Spirit.
Yeah, of course, they were relegated. That was the big drama in the Season 1 of the DPC to Division 2, obviously. And
they did go 7-0.
Yes, well, I mean, that's Division 2.
It is Division 2, and they did look a bit shaky in some of their games. I don't think, like, the normal dominance you would expect out of the 2020 Viking.
All right, well, the game is about to start here, and I mean, do you agree with the panels? We might have some action here. Mind Control linked up with G8. Shad really wants to get this early bounty rune, and Shad will get it.
A little bit short on that lion stun.
Yeah.
So what was that you were asking me, though?
Thank you. That's very courteous of you, Curtis. Really appreciate you looking out for me. But the cooldowns here, like the panel is kind of talking about the Chronosphere. You have the RP. You don't really have a ton to put in the Chronosphere. Like in terms of the team fight, do you like what Viking has to offer, or is it like you have the Empower for Void, obviously, and you have Chakram inside the Chronosphere. Do you think they needed more, or do you think it's fine?
I don't really think you need that much chrono damage to play with Faceless Void, just in general. I think they should have enough. They do have Finger as well, coincides well with the cooldown. I don't think... If Timbersaw has a good lane, then the cooldowns don't matter. But if Timbersaw manages to get pressured, we saw the Major a couple times where, like, I think Alme on Faceless...
Oh my god, Kezu, all right.
Beast.
We see you. Nice Timber Chain. ILTW gets
players?
dropped.
I won't, but I want to tip Kezu there because that was a pretty sick play from him.
Yeah, if observers could tip, that would be... I think that could be a thing that the Battle Pass maybe unlocks, right? Look at this. Nice stun from Armis, and they set this up. I mean, you always have to be careful.
Perfect. He had stick, but he wasn't expecting that pure damage coming out of Kezu.
Yeah.
It's a very underrated nuke. 60 mana for 100 damage. He just spammed that level 1. Got a kill on the Morphling.
Yeah, that's not something you see every day, though.
More importantly than even just a kill, which, I mean, it is important. They get lane control now because as Morphling was dead, he couldn't control the lane at all. Now they have it in front of the tower, and they're going to be able to pressure. This 5 Brewmaster is very greedy. It's not a strong laner at all. If Timbersaw has a good lane, then when your cooldowns are down, he can sort of push lanes and pressure anywhere on the map, and he can like bring all the attention to him. So even though you have this Chronosphere RP cooldown, he can make up for that time.
And you have in the mid lane, we haven't really talked yet about it, Miracle on the Puck versus Boom's Magnus. How do you like this matchup, hero versus hero, not including the players themselves?
I'm not going to lie. My worst matchups are definitely in mid lane because I don't play that much mid. In my head, I think both of them should farm. Puck should eventually out-harass Magnus, but then Magnus goes to the jungle and slightly out-farms Puck.
Right.
And then it's on like who has the better rotations with a little bit of Puck favor.
Right. All right, well, so far, pretty even overall. Boom has a little bit of a CS advantage right
Morphling
now.
has 2 CS. 2.
Yeah, I mean, that first blood definitely hurt. There's no doubt about it. He's going to be left alone now to try to get some last hits under the tier 1 tower. I mean, in terms of, like, how big of an advantage does that give you dying at level 1?
I mean, Morphling's the type of hero that he's really weak to level 1 and 2. When he gets level 3, he gets significantly stronger. When he gets level 5, he becomes a beast in lane. So anything you can do to sort of mess with the equilibrium, because he is a 280 MS hero, is very high value.
Well, GH getting harassed here a bit by Celery. I believe he picked up a Ring of Health from the secret shop, so...
I wonder if they watched Miracle's Puck at the Animator, because he never takes Fascia. Every game I saw him, he went 4-4-0. So he is quite gankable. If he wastes Orb to get a CS, they come behind him with some line, secure him to tower, he could definitely die. And the reason I'm talking about this is because Timbersaw, it looks like his start is good enough that they're going to be leave him pretty early.
Okay, yeah, that could have a pretty big impact on the game, right? I mean, right now, in terms of the top lane, Mind Control is just doing axe things. Just cutting this wave to some degree. He's going to get harassed here. Curse of Avernus is there, but Sully just doesn't really have any damage to deal at this stage. I mean, Mind Control already has that Ring of Health, like we talked about. It was passed over by GH.
You can see GH, he's even dewarding his Ancient Camp right now because he understands he's going to be freed up. Really cool, like, Sentry from Viking. I don't think they expected this one on Nigma. They do get it.
Armis getting chased by Kuro. So you're saying the position, I mean, obviously this is true, but the position 5 Brewmaster pretty greedy, but how does it fit in once you get past the laning stage?
I mean, basically, your idea with this hero is you're suffering a bit in the lane, but you're supposed to give great team fight. They're going on Salary here, so nice blocks from GH.
Yeah, that's going to be a kill, no doubt about it. Although, no, Boom is here with the shockwave potential. Skewers GH back into the tier 1 tower, but there's the tether to get to safety again, so Celery does live through that engagement overall. And now back to farming we go.
So back about the Brewmaster, you're basically betting that what you're losing in laning will be made up for in other aspects of the hero. Sometimes it's damage, sometimes it's team fight. For Brewmaster, it's like mostly control and team fight. I'm not sure, I haven't seen much of it, but the matchups he has is good. Like, you can just lift the Timbersaw into fights and ignore him. You can lift the core, then you're trading your 5 position for a core, and you feel really good in these fights.
Boom trying to get aggressive here in the mid lane again, but Miracle with the illusory orb, the aphotic shield for Celery. Boom staying alive for now. One more right click will do, but he's pretty fast. No skewer for another 11 seconds, but he's created a lot of distance here, trying to deny himself to Roche before the illusory orb comes, and he'll be successful.
He denies on that
20
EXP.
seconds. Yep, that is true.
He doesn't get the TP scroll though. That's always a moral, what they call, like,
oh, when you die to neutrals, you don't get a TP.
Yeah,
oh,
because usually if I feed, I just go, guys, I just want a TP scroll. He can't do that. Very disadvantageous.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. All right, well, Kezu in the meantime in this bot lane, 23-7 in terms of CS. So he's doing fairly well. I mean, at some point, like level 5, I assume, he just starts... I mean, how do you like to see the Timbersaws play? Diving the tier 1 tower, trying to create as much space as possible, or...
I think this game, it's a little hard to pressure Morphling, usually. I'm not too sure like how much this First Blood will change that dynamic. If you can pressure the enemy carry, then that's always going to be your first option. But if you can't, then skipping the waves or cutting it and like wrapping on mid is also a good option. Or just honestly, just focusing on your own game. You can see he has a hood queued up. Once he has that, he should feel pretty immortal this game. Maybe Morphling has a timing. The level 6, you steal that Whirling Death. I've actually seen Timbersaws versus Morphling. Sometimes they skip their first spell and they go like 0-2-3s, just so that when Morphling gets 6, he can't have that timing on you because you don't see the skills, so you morph into him.
I see. Oh, bottom lane, they're going to lock down ILTW again. He's attempting to get out with that attribute shift. Looks like he's okay for now, but they might turn this around to Kuroki instead. There's 3 members of Viking right now, but here comes Miracle. Made his first TP rotation. Shows himself now, has the coil available. Looks like he's going to use it. It's only going to be on 1, and it's just the support Avid on level 2. Looks to be fine for now. He's going to get the aphotic shield off. Now they might try to turn this around on Miracle. Armis has plenty of mana to work with. Miracle might get silenced if he's not careful. There's the silence coming in. It's going to prevent the illusory orb. Gets hexed on top of that, and a huge kill for Viking in this bot lane.
That is really rough for Puck. Puck's the type of hero where you need your first rotations, especially your TP rotations to go out. Oh, they're still going.
Yeah. ILTW is hanging on by a thread here. I mean, he does have the Morbid Mask. I mean, it's on the way, at least.
Yeah, he will. He also has the Bastard Ring, so he can sort of sustain himself through mana that way. Just keep morphing down and up. The big thing about that, though, is Puck died after using his TP, so he has to walk to a lane, and his mid-tower took 600 damage versus Magnus. Magnus not typically the hero you'd expect to pressure a mid lane.
Yeah, that is true.
And they have to commit more resources to bottom here. Wisseason has to TP in.
Yep, the siege is still alive as Kezu continues to just tank this up. Kuroki trying to take it out himself. He's going to take heavy damage as a result. Finally, the siege gets taken out, but you can see the damage is done on this tier 1 tower for the most part. Question is, can Viking continue this onslaught on this tower, or will they be forced back by Team Nigma?
I think the big thing that Nigma does have going for them, though, is if we click over to Mind Control, think he has 4,200 net worth. He's farmed 72 CS, just pulling the waves into neutral creeps. Right now, Nigma, they sort of need to stave off the onslaught from Viking. This Timbersaw is very high pressure early. They're even backing up with both supports. Not much they can do about it.
Yeah, Kuro trying to create some sort of presence here. Do you think they just give this up then? Yeah.
I think they have to. They can sort of try to hold their jungle, make sure that Viking need to bring more resources in order to pierce that area of the map, but you can't contest this Timbersaw right now. He is too fat.
Yep, he's a big boy. But speaking of big boys, like he said, Mind Control has the Vanguard, has 1,400 gold, so Blink Dagger not too far away. And how do you like the new axe these days? Like, is there a game where you don't go Manta?
For
these days,
probably. I don't know when. Maybe like you have enough damage, you want to keep up the snowball, because Manta is inherently a slower item.
Yeah.
But you can see this Timbersaw, he took bot tower so fast, he's just going to come up here to the axe.
Top lane. All right, speaking of Mind Control, you're going to get the Chronosphere from Shad. They have the damage with that Chakram into the Timber Chain, but he's so tanky on Mind Control. But again, it's just a matter of time. Oh, faking out the Culling Blade, but not nearly low enough to get a kill.
One spin there, and he had the Void, though. That would have been a big play. And you can see, this is part of the benefit of Viking. They had to play through this Timbersaw. If they took bottom tower early, all of a sudden they can defend their top tower. Even though Axe has 4,400 net worth, he's not able to push forward on the map. You look at his options now, like he doesn't want to go farm neutrals when he's this farm, but I don't think he really has a choice.
As Kezu now showing up in the top lane after that kill.
Really smooth rotation by Viking there.
What's that?
Really smooth rotation from Viking there. They got the Void out of the lane, like a disadvantaged lane. They used Chrono to kill the highest net worth hero, and now Kezu is defending their top tower and Void's free farming bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. But from Nigma's side, now trying to make some sort of push effort on this tier 1 mid, and all they have is Celery and Aramis to try to defend for now. Let's see if they have enough damage. Not deniable yet, as some rotations are on the way for Viking. See if they can actually do something about this. Hex into the Earth Spike with the Chakram to follow from Kezu. Won't have enough damage to actually get the kill here, but they will force off Miracle for now. Looking for that regen, but Celery has been really good at taking these bounties and power runes so far this game. So Viking with a 1k net worth advantage so far, as ILTW now showing up in the top lane.
You can see Nigma's plan here. They just want to move the Timbersaw around. They moved in top, he had to defend the tower or kill the axe, and then they immediately start hitting the mid tower, so he has to walk all the way over. Now he has no TP scroll, and ILTW is manning up on that top tower. They are setting up for their blitz.
Oh, boom. First RP of the game into the finger. My goodness. That is a deletion of ILTW, and that is the Blink Dagger reveal for Mr. Boom. But at the same time, maybe sticking around a little bit too long. Miracle's here with the coil into Orb, and that ends up being an easy trade.
And they have a wagon up here. I think with the Magnus dead, this might be a tower. They might have noticed that TP got cancelled from Viking side as well. So that was a finger you're waiting for all of the Gambit series, huh?
I forgot what it looked like, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's a very cool
It looks
move.
like it still works in Dota, so that's good to see. But yeah, they do get that tier 1 tower here. And Blink Dagger was picked up by Mind Control. I mean, we've seen a lot of position 1 axes, obviously, where they don't go Blink for a while, right? Where they just go straight for the Manta into Shard. For offlane, Blink is pretty typical still, but you still end up going Shard, Manta at some point in the game, usually, right?
I think typically you do. He even has that chip vest, which helps him farm a lot faster. I think it's sort of your responsibility as an offlaner. If you're having a good game, you have to get an item that can change the status quo of the game. Blink Dagger is usually that item. I think we'll see... I mean, Nigma should smoke here, in my opinion. They have Coil on 17, so maybe they'll wait for that. But they have that Brewmaster ulti. They have the Blink Dagger. They should try to get mid-tower and force a big team fight here.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Shad was taking out some stacks in the triangle for Viking. He has, I mean, he had Empower, he has Maelstrom right now, and I mean, anytime you're at this state of the game, is we're going to see initiation from Mind Control. So Blink Dagger has been revealed, and it was, I mean, just on Celery, so no surprise factor coming out for Nigma now. But,
He did show it on the ward, but that felt like a very, like, lazy Blink, right? Like, normally if you get Blink, you think, I have a timing, I'm stronger than them, we can force something. I don't know if the info is just that they don't want to take a fight with it, but in my head it doesn't feel right. Like, they have no RP, they have no finger. You should want to do something with the timing.
yeah, and then from perspective of Viking, Shad is top net worth as a faceless void.
That's pretty
I
terrifying.
feel like, I mean, maybe I watch too much NA Dota, Curtis, but I feel like Faceless Void is this hero that does not get off to a good start a lot of the time. So the fact that he is on top right now is a good sign for Viking.
Pause coming out just to give some time to talk. They really like us. They want to hear us.
That's right. Of course, I've been watching a lot of Envy, so maybe I'm a little biased on the Faceless Void
I think
games.
Faceless Void, I mean, he's a strong laner, so he should have an okay start. But when he goes to the jungle, he just hits creeps one by one very slowly.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any skills that really help him farm. This game, there's an Empower, right? So as soon as you get those stacks, suddenly a weak, like Void, his skill set's really strong. I think his first two skills, Time Walk and Time Dilation, they could basically be considered ultimates on other heroes.
Boom! Boom! Ah, that felt good. That always feels good.
You should make a voice pack.
Thank you.
Just a sound pack.
I can make a lot of money off
You
of
would
that.
make a lot of
Yeah,
money.
no doubt. If Valve would actually accept all the voice lines, I'd make even more. But, you know, that's another story.
No, I mean more for like the heroes.
Oh, for the-
like not even like voice lines.
You know, I
just
actually
sound
submitted
effects.
my voice for Pit Lord before he was in the game.
Like,
I sent an email to, literally sent an email to Ice Frog, and I can't do the voice anymore. I actually tried it the other day. It was really bad, but I, you know, submitted some voice lines. I'm like, I would like to do Pit Lord, because he wasn't called Underlord at that point. And they replied with a very nice email saying, we only work with voice actors that are part of like the voice acting union. It's basically a way to say you suck at this.
that's
We're
pretty
not
reasonable.
interested.
That's very nice of them. Because I
Usually
think
they don't respond.
if they didn't have that excuse,
Yeah.
you would have gone to something a lot meaner back.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's always good to see. But yeah, good start for Viking so far. I mean, at what point does, I mean, we talked about the Blink Dagger on Mind Control. Does, I mean, I feel like they need to maybe get a little bit more active, or you think they're fine right now?
I think they need to get active. I feel like usually when you have a Morphling, you have sort of the late game advantage. But if you look at this game, I think Lion and Void specifically are really good versus him. And it's hard to shotgun support Abaddon. So like one of your offensive options as a carry Morphling is lower.
Right.
I don't feel like Viking should feel they're on a timer. And if the status quo continues, like if they, as long as they just keep using their spells on cooldown, they should feel very comfortable this game.
Radiant are scared.
We see Boom in the jungle.
Maybe they're
Powering
waiting
himself here.
for IO mech. That's the only thing I can think of. Like I'm not sure why they don't want to fight. Like the players, they have better information than the casters because they, I mean, they're just better at Dota. But I'm not too sure what their comms are like to make them wait.
We get to see a primal split from Kuro on the Brew, but it is position 5, so I'm sure once we see this initiation come through, we'll see all these teamfight ults.
He is level 8 and he is just sort of sitting in front of his mid tower, making sure Viking can't go there. Perhaps they just believe in IOTW to carry this game. It's not a bad bet, to be honest. Just a bit worried. Like I feel like it's very easy to mess up on Morphling this game.
Yeah, how do you feel about Morphling versus Void, and like in a late game matchup?
I think it's Void favored. I think Morphling generally doesn't like melee heroes that bash him. Traditionally, it's like Slark, Morphling, Troll, Void. They used to all counter Morphling.
Celery showing himself here. Mind Control is going to finally get off that blink call. Borrow time is already popped. He's just going to get run down here, though, in all likelihood. Although there is Aramis coming. He gets the Earth Spike off, only connecting on one. They might turn around on him instead. But Celery showing how this position 5... Okay, he's finally going to get called again and chopped down here. That's the most satisfying spell in the entire game.
It is very satisfying. I really like Mana Void, actually. It feels good to hit a good Mana Void.
Except you have to play Anti-Mage to
I
be able
don't
to
like
get that,
Anti-Mage.
so.
So Lion's actually only 100 gold from his 50 gold from his Blink Dagger now.
Really?
He's very
Wow.
fast.
Dire structures are
Aramis.
fortified.
That's crazy.
I think Celery actually didn't know that Abaddon OT could not remove the Axe Call because he instantly popped it there at the Secret Shop. Even if you use it, you're still called.
Yeah. All right, Kezu taking some pressure here, but Mind Control gets off the call onto 2 heroes, but has to back up now. He's gonna just get, nope, he's gonna get skewered back into the tier 1. They might have to leave him here with the Chakram, the Whirling Death, all this damage from Viking. Able to blow up the pretty tanky Mind Control.
They do use the solo chrono on Io. Io still has mech up and is over half HP, so that was a little bit optimistic. But they do get the bigger kill. I think sometimes in those types of team fights where they get really staggered, your comms can get really chaotic. Like maybe Void thought he had a finger there just to finish off the eye or something, but they're focused on the axe.
Right. Yeah, Kezu pressuring the tier 1, trying to keep this siege alive again. He's been doing a really good job this game. Of course, that is Timbersaw's MO, generally
Radiant's
speaking.
middle tower is under attack.
Is that, are they getting 2 mechs? Am I crazy?
Who's getting second?
Kuro?
Radiant structures.
I think it's just Cage.
Yeah, Io has a mech and
Oh, Kuro has one
Early.
queued up.
queuing one up right now. You're going to see the Primal split. Coil only on the 1 right now. They're actually going to pop it right off the bat. They're going to be able to kill Beast, Storm Panda. There's the RP though, only onto one hero. And the Chakram to follow. They don't have enough damage to take out LTW right now. So it's a 5v4 in favor of Team Nigma. LTW continue to try to right-click Boom. I mean, he has turned into Faceless Void himself, so he gets off the Time Walk. Has a ton of HP manipulation now. He gets pressured here again by Kezu. There's the Berserker's Call. Can they actually blow him up in time? It's going to be close. Timeout coming off cooldown. There we go. Shad will live, but the tier 1 falls.
Really clutch play from Kuro there. They coiled the Lion, and Viking was telling him to break the coil so they could shield him. But as soon as he broke coil, he actually threw up the Abaddon in the air. And then, I mean, Abaddon ulti to take off the Panda Whirlwind thing, but it's just enough time to finish off that Lion, which really clutched him to fight.
Yeah, Kuro trying to get these stacks taken from Shad. Gets the Thunderclap off. I believe he got those as well. Now he's going to get pressured, though, but there's the counter initiation from Mind Control onto 2. Product Shield applied to Shad now, but they're just going to turn this around. Looks like Kuroki is the first to fall in this engagement. It'll be a 1-for-1 to start. And now we have the relocate coming for GH, so Miracle will be out of here. Mind Control, able to blink out in time.
He is going for that Manta style. I think he's identified that they need more carries this game than just the Morphling. If Morphling has to solo carry this game, he's going to get Hex, he's going to get Chrono, RP'd, everything's going to go on him. And, I mean, you can save him with Isle, but it's very scary, right? Like, they have a lot of damage coming up for Viking eventually.
Right, and he's kind of off to a mediocre start at best.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Normally, you don't see Morphling bottom of the 6 cores in the game. He's a very fast farming hero, very stable at farming.
Very true. And now the Armis has that Blink Dagger. LTW has to be careful with the low HP manipulation here. He's going for... Here's the Dragonlance going for Manta now. In terms of net worth, though, still pretty freaking even overall. And then from Vikings' perspective, Shad has the casual Sage going for Scotty next. What do you want him to upgrade this Sage into?
I think he has the SMY on Courier.
Or does he have SMY?
Yeah, he has the SMY on Courier. I think that's correct. The stats resistance versus Axe is the only thing that really helps versus Call. Not even Aeon just takes it off, for example, or this Abaddon Shield. And eventually, I mean, I think Scotty, this is a really good Scotty game, but eventually you're going to want some sort of lifesteal, and SMY amplifies that.
Yeah.
They are just doing Roshan, though. This is very cool.
Yeah, Mind Control and company.
Yeah, they got the Illusion Rune on Axe, which does quite a bit of damage to Roshan, even without the shard, just through getting hit and spinning.
Yeah. It's already at half HP, and you can see on the mini-map that Viking are not even remotely aware of this, so it looks like it's going to be a freebie for Team Nigma.
A really good ward from Kuroki in the enemy jungle, just setting up any vision so that they know if Viking are coming.
Yeah, and there we go. ILTW takes that Aegis. Do you agree with that choice over Miracle?
Yeah, I feel like Miracle, he should play for the outplay this game. Like, feel like he won't die because he's just going to be phase shifted and moving around the fight.
And he's getting Aeon Disc, apparently.
Yeah,
third item.
Good choice. They have Mind, they have RP.
I was talking to Lacoste about this. How do you think that that item is going to get nerfed? What would you do?
I think it just needs a cost increase.
He said the
Maybe
same thing.
the vulnerability a bit shorter. Honestly, that item, I think it's gone a bit overrated. Like in EG's last series with LGD, when they had it on Fear and Storm, like it was just straight bad. They should have had BKBs. So like it is a strong item, but you can't over-index on it. It doesn't do any damage.
Right. All right, we have a smoke here from Team Nigma on to 4 heroes. But we can see that it's mostly for warding purposes, as they're not really going to find anybody, at least not yet. And as we can see, the mech. So yeah, Kuro, oh, we're going to have the initiation. Mind Control jumps in. Kuro is there. Shad is just going to pop his ult and TP out, but the coil will stop him in his place. So they're going to expend that for the support kill. And a chop down as well from Mind Control.
I feel like Celery's pretty happy with that. The coil is the only thing that will really kill this Void. I mean, maybe like if they perfectly time all their souls with all their heroes there. But I don't think Call Silence is generally going to be enough. So he buys his carry like 80 seconds of free farm.
Right. So it looks like Team Nigma did have a conversation about the double mech, Curtis.
That's good.
So Kuro will, or he has a Force Staff now instead. So that's good to see. I thought it was like, is there some next level reasoning?
Nah, dude, I remember in Dota 1, mech used to stack. And the terms had to like ban out having more than one mech manually.
And Necro, I think, was 2 max per team or something like that?
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Yeah. A lot of restrictions. Pudge wasn't allowed to get a Blink Dagger, Vengeful Spirit as well. We've come a long way. That was basically alpha days for Dota, feels like.
Yeah, for Dota 2 for sure. And Viking, they smoke up. They have all their spells. Their Abaddon's back up. Not too sure what the point of this smoke is. They had mid and bottom pushed
Oh,
in.
boom. Yeah, his smoke is going to be revealed by Miracle on the high ground here. Of course, they have pretty much everything up right now, so looking for a potential big initiation into burst.
Yeah, I feel like that smoke was pretty low percentage. They weren't smoking to any wards, and I mean, they have one ward at the bottom river, but it's more of a defensive ward to show the rune. And they had mid and bot lane pushed in, so they instantly have to show a Timbersaw bottom. They instantly have to show someone mid, and they don't find it in with that smoke.
Right.
A little bit awkward, but these things happen. Sometimes you think you see a line, and you know, you're just one piece of information's off.
All right, based on the pace of the game right now, who do you favor? Because net worth-wise, it's pretty even.
I mean, the heroes on Viking I favor, by experience, I favor the experience of Nigma, right?
Right.
Because like the later the game goes, I think the more experience in Dota kicks in. I would say the heroes on Viking are way easier to play at this point, though. You're gonna need to have some great relocate saves. The thing is, like, would you trust GH to get a clutch relocate save when he's done it literally 50 times in higher pressure situations?
Right. This is actually kind of cool. Kuroki has a shard queued up. That gives the Void Bruling that has like the disarm.
Okay.
So the ultra micro coming in from Kuro. Of course, he's very poor, so Aghanim Scepter would be amazing with a double charge, but
I have never seen the shard.
yeah, it's very rare. So we'll be interested to see how well it works. I mean, if he gets that off on Void, obviously that's going to be pretty freaking powerful. It's Miracle looking to set up here as the tier 2 is there, but only coil onto 1 as Mind Control gets the initiation and the chop down onto Aramis, and with that, we'll see if Viking tries to back out. Kezu completely surrounded, but the Timber Chain is there. Shad looking for the initiation. Chronosphere onto 3, but there's the relocate while he was chronoed. Nicely done overall, but that's going to be the Aegis down. You can see GH TPing back to the tier 2 tower, which was not taken out. Mind Control now. Gets the call off only onto 1. Now the waveform, but there is a big RP onto 2. Can they save ILTW? Gets off that Manta style, but boom, again, the skewer back into enemy lines. Celery finally gets the borrow time off as ILTW continue to get right click, but do they have the damage is the question. Shad needs to look for this potential kill. The Timber Chain is there. Now the waveform into TP. He needs the bash, but he's not going to get it. But in the end, Vikings still get 3 kills. Very nicely done from them.
It's amazing to take a team fight. Even though Lion gets taken out, right before he dies, he drops his high ground ward. It gives him vision of all of Nigma's heroes, and it gives him freedom to play the fight. I think a little bit over-aggressive by Shad. I think he maybe could have helped his backline with that morphling a bit, but they end up executing really well and winning that fight.
Yeah, I feel like they were very patient with their spells as well.
I did not know you could relocate during Chronosphere.
Well, yeah, he relocated, tethered, and then got stunned, and then he still went up.
No, I thought it stopped it. It definitely used to stop it, or I swear it did. I could be wrong. I don't play much IO. But maybe they changed it.
Mechanics have changed like 1,000 times over. People that have been in the scene for a long time.
Our brains don't
like
work.
you and me, it's just you have to guess at a certain point.
Yeah.
Time is money.
Also, the
that,
tooltips don't say, so because
yeah,
we don't deserve it.
the
We're
tooltips-
scummy Dota players.
The tooltips can be a bit frustrating at times, I won't lie. But oh, we see a shard on GH. So the tether stunning, the old
That's interesting.
Imba tether is back.
Well, you have to break it though, right? Oh no, it's just when they touch it. Sorry, I'm completely wrong here.
This is something you don't see very
This
often.
shard is underrated. It has to be underrated. Like 10% extra move speed just to move around the map on IO has to be good.
Yeah.
And you can double stun people, right? Because it's just when they touch it, so you just cancel and redo it. So it could be a 3.5 second stun. They lack some lockdown for the Void. I was saying they need a coil. Maybe they don't know.
Oh, Celery popping this smoke. He's going to be the one they initiate on again, and I feel like this is exactly what he wants. Gets off the borrowed time.
Makes
Keeping
a coil
out,
again.
but there's the coil. I feel like this... Are we watching a replay right now?
He's just doing his
I've
job
done this
very
before,
well.
Curtis, at the major. I cast the replay, just double checking that this was...
It was real life.
All right, real life, thank God.
Not a fantasy.
All right, thank Gavin. But yeah, it feels like Viking are... I have to say, Celery's playing really well this game.
I think so too. I think he's been very on point with his positioning. He's like he's dancing that line, you know. It's support Abaddon. You can't play too far forward because then they just pop your ulti for free. But you need to make them think they can go on you, and you need to block all the smokes, and he's done that very well.
All right, well, Mind Control is 100 away from finishing the shard for himself.
Oh,
He'll
that's
have
a big courier snipe. They sniped Kazu's Shivas.
Oh, that was the Mystic Staff, yeah. So 3 minutes with no Shivas.
No Shivas versus IO and Morphling. So they do have a bit of a timing here. They're down 3k, but that effectively makes them 4k stronger. I'm going to give the plate a little bit of value.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, Mind Control, once that shard comes, he's going to feel he just buys it now. So the aggro counter helix, as it were, is now online. Well, on the way at least.
all 3 cores from Viking are above Nigmas, but I think with the Shiva's down and with this Manta pickup, they do have damage to win these fights. They can definitely clutch it out. They have a silence to like stop the Abaddon from saving from this double IO spell, tether spell.
Boom and company are smoked up right now, looking for an initiation. They'll find mind control, and he is totally surrounded and bursted down. Another charge on that finger of death. As Viking again showing the initiative here.
Yeah, they had that good ward set up. The Nigma D wards barely missed it, and see this smoke. They smoke to their ward. It feels a lot better. If you just smoke into an aggressive area, you need any advantage you can get. Last time it felt a bit like they didn't have a purpose. This one, easy ward, easy kill into axe, and now Nigma, they don't have the Manta timing anymore.
Yeah, of course, Nigma were in the wild cards for the major and played extremely well throughout the tournament.
Reload.
As we're going to see, RP is going to connect. It's going to be onto 3, but the Aeon Disc does pop for Miracle, which provides him the hard dispel, but GH gets completely blown up. It will be a trade for the Lion, but it looks like everybody else for Nigma will be able to retreat in time.
That was some sick timing coming out from Boom. It results in a 1-to-1, but only because Miracle's Aeon Disc barely procced before Lion got off that Impale.
Right.
That would have been a 3-man Impale, and very likely IO and the Morphling dying there.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big cooldown overall, as we can see the RP fake there from Boom, but there's the Aeon Disc being procced. And yeah, that, see why Miracle picked it up so early, and so many players picking that item up early.
Miracle is just being such a nuisance on the map. Even when his Aeon Disc is down, he's just cutting waves beside the Viking base.
Yeah, we saw, who was that at the major that was really good? It was Toronto Tokyo was going ham.
Yeah, he went travels on puck and split push every wave, every game.
Yeah, he was
Worked
doing
pretty
a
well
really
for
good
them.
job. As Kuro is 50 gold away from the Shard
I'm excited.
AUI. I am too. The little purple.
I've actually never seen this thing
Really?
be used. Yeah.
I've seen it once, I think.
Does it
but-
do damage, or is it just a slow and disarm? Because the tooltip says no damage.
Well, what do you mean? Oh, the actual spell itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it does damage, but I could be wrong.
I
It is a
feel like-
tooltip, so
Yeah, we don't
Yeah,
deserve to know what our spells do.
you have to buy it to find out. That's the way it happens. Oh, Chad, the Chronosphere onto 1. It's going to be GH taking a tumble. Perhaps looking for ILTW as well, but he was just outside of range. So they'll have to be happy with that. 40 seconds, no GH.
If Io didn't have the shard, he would have caught Morphling in that, because he barely walked out. You get the 10% move speed. Like, they saw him clipped on the ward, right? So, like, in your head, you're trying to calculate where they'll be, and he's just off because of the extra move speed.
All right, well, they're going to use this opportunity to try to go for Roche. Of course, it's just an IO. They're going to scan, does Team Nigma, so they know this is the second Roche, of course.
They have
So
the
there is a
ward,
shard available.
and Io has no buyback.
That is true. 10 seconds. Shiva's finally delivered to Kezu. My God, ILTW has to be careful. They're going to turn this around with the Finger of Death. They take out Kuroki. Oh, inside the pit, though, the snatch from Shad. So Team Nigma get the actual Roche kill. Okay, well, that's some XP, some gold. Now, who got the cheese and the shard is the question. Looks like the shard did go to Shad, so he's going to have the reverse time walk.
Did they get the cheese as well there? Magnus has a cheese on him.
Yeah, so they get everything other than the kill on Roche, which
That's unfortunate.
doesn't really matter that much, right?
Yeah, I mean, it used to matter a lot back when it was like 1,000 EXP and 200 each for the kill, but it's not, the kill is much less than the map control and team fight you'll get from the items now.
Do you agree with Shad taking the shard?
Yeah,
I don't know. Have we had the conversation about the reverse time walk?
I think
You
it's
like it?
amazing.
You get the 400 range, which is great.
Yeah.
And then tell me about the reverse time walk aspect to it. Like, what do you like about it?
There's, I mean, it just lets you. The range is more important.
Oh, you're gonna have to
One
hold
fight.
those horses, young man. Or we're gonna have to relocate. Okay, you can start talking again.
Oh, wait. They're
Wait.
gonna set up for
Oh
this.
yeah, they're going back in. Shad gets the time dilation off onto GH. There's the RP. It's only onto the Morphling, who'd already popped his attribute shift. They're gonna try to get GH. They'll do so successfully. Of course, the relocate, not the greatest. Is now ILTW getting pressure into the trees he goes. He's gonna get skewered back out. Another time dilation to follow. Do they have the damage to finish him off? It looks like the answer to that is yes. Double kill for Shad. In the meantime, Mind Control dies in the mid lane, and now Kuro getting chased by Kezu, who has a shard of his own, so he's breathing fire.
Kezu's build this game is so good. He's just completely destroying this game.
And with
no one
that
can touch
Chakram
him.
into the Whirling Death. 4 dead, and Viking lose nobody. But Miracle again Pushing out these lanes, trying to be the nuisance that you were talking about.
They do have Wagon on bottom, so Puck cannot push that out. What were we talking about before that big fight happens where Viking just obliterated Nigma?
Was it the Shad?
Oh, the Shard.
Shard?
Yeah, the Shad Shard. I think it's really good. I mean, you can sort of fake Chronos. You can like force out BKBs with it. It's impossible to catch him. Eventually you'll get Aghanim's. But most importantly, I think the 400 range just lets you play Dota like a normal hero.
Right.
You used to have to go Blink Dagger on Faceless Void before talents were added. And once talents got added, you could just take the range. But then they moved it from a talent to the Shard. So now you need a Shard eventually.
Yeah, I think the 400 range is pretty freaking huge for sure.
I think shards in general, giving them to your cores, just sort of multiplying the net worth on your 1 position and 2 position is
Right.
generally like the correct path to take.
I think if it's like somewhat close in power spike is like
Yeah,
if
exactly.
If there's a support that is like way better though, I feel like you probably give it to
It's just like supports, you don't have that many items to buy and you have a lot of gold dispatch, so eventually you'll get your shard.
like you
But
could argue Aramis's shard was like really good value this game to pick up.
Aramis is shard?
Yeah, the
The
mana
lion
drain
one?
BKB.
I don't think it's that good this game.
Really?
I think it's a bit overrated. It's really strong. It's one of the best shards, but I feel like people just rush it. Like this game, I like his items a lot more. I don't think the shard does anything from here. He doesn't want to stand still in these fights in mana drain.
Fair enough. And GH with that Ghost Scepter, gonna be forced out as Shad jumping in. He actually wants to get this kill. Looks like he'll be successful with the Chronosphere. It's gonna connect on the mind control as well, who's just trying to help out his little buddy. Seller is there. Don't think they're gonna be able to follow this up though, but they do get the kill onto GH. 40 seconds on the deck. Does have buyback though.
That was fancy footwork there. That was a shard. He jumped back
true.
offensively.
Yeah, you never know if he's gonna jump back or not. The mind games are real. Shad.
Look at that. Free courier jumps back.
All right, that worked out pretty well. I like it.
Having more options in Dota is good, right? Like just in general. So if you can do something, it gives you an option to outplay them or more tools.
And Viking able to get that tier 3 tower, looking for the melee racks here.
I don't know how they're supposed to kill this Faceless Void. He had Skadi and he went for the lifesteal on Satanic, as I said, and he's a beast.
Yeah, anytime, even if you get the silence now, you just dispel it with Satanic.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's
I
one
forgot
of the
how
best
broken that
changes.
was.
Yeah, that item is redonkulous now. Absolutely. Well, he's going to jump in, but they know he doesn't have Chronosphere. They're not going to be too scared. Doesn't have Aghanim Scepter either, so you're not going to get that bash. As we can see, top lane getting a little bit pressured right now by the illusions of ILTW. But
look at
Midrax.
Oh,
Oh,
Tether's
the
done.
stun! The GA shard turning out to be pretty value there at least, but we're going to see on the other side here. Looking for Miracle. Oh, he might be in some trouble. Gets the coil out, but the Finger of Death blows him up. 70 seconds of no Miracle. And Shad just continuing to go ham here. He's going to get Berserker call, but he is more than healthy. Still has the Aegis intact. This could be a second Rax for Viking.
You do have ILTW. He's pushing pretty fast top with that Butterfly and IO relocating even.
Yep, that's true. We're going to see the Skewer here onto Mind Control. See if they can finish him off as well. Basically in enemy territory right now. You can see ILTW getting some help from GH in the meantime. But Mind Control easily going to get right-click down right now by Boom. Shockwave finishes him off. So double racks for Viking. You can see the Aegis was finally expired here. And all Nigma could get was that tier 3 tower top. Did a little bit of damage to the melee, but that's about it. Chronosphere back up at 35 seconds. Remember, no puck for quite a while now. As there's the RP into the skewer onto 2 heroes, and GH is dead again. Does have buyback, though. Double kill for Boom. RP actually still down. ILTW has that BKB, but he's just going to get bashed down into oblivion. GG is called, and Viking take a sliver of... I feel like they were up by just a bit, like 1K, 2K, but they're able to just amplify that into an absolute stomp towards the end.
Yeah, I think they really hit the timing. In contrast, I think Nigma, they got the Blink Dagger on Axe. They didn't really do anything with it. I think maybe a little bit of exhaustion. They played a lot of games at the major. Meanwhile, Viking are fresh and ready to go. But they were impressive. They played really well that game. Specifically, I think Kezu. I think all his items and positioning were on point. He defended every tower he needed to. He went, I think, what were the correct items? I could be wrong. I don't play that much Timber, but very on point by them.
Now, a lot of people were talking about how Nigma were, quote unquote, even they said it themselves, that they were kind of figured out at the major.